It's time now for a look through today's newspapers, and I'm joined in the studio by our press reviewer, Deeptika Laurent. Deepti, there's been lots of reaction to Kazakhstan's announcement this week that there will be no transit of oil to Germany through Russia starting next month. Tell us more.
Well, Alison, the Kazakh energy minister made that announcement earlier this week that the Kazakh oil transit to Germany via Russia, via the Druzhba pipeline, will be suspended from May the 1st. Now, Russia says officially it's due to technical constraints, but for the Frankfurter Allgemeine, a German daily, it's clearly political. The paper noting that Russian oil is flowing through parts of the same pipeline to Slovakia and Hungary, without any of these technical constraints. For this daily, at least, Russia is using oil as leverage, that's what the headline reads, in order to put pressure on the German government to halt drone attacks on Russian oil terminals. Now, looking at the reaction from the Russian press, this is from Vedomosti, a Russian financial daily, who cites Igor Yushkov, who is a columnist for the state news agency TASS. He's quoted as saying that the suspension of this pipeline will reinforce Europe's dependence on Russian ports, which in turn, he says, might make them reconsider attacks by Ukraine on Russia. And in other articles, Alison, you have the Times of Central Asia, which explains that Germany depends on the Druzhba pipeline for about 17% of its current crude supply. Now, while Germany is looking into alternative deliveries, the suspension, the paper says, exposes Europe's reliance on a route that runs through Russia. However, Germany is not the only one who will suffer from this suspension. This is Orda, which is a Kazakh, an independent Kazakh media outlet, which says that the halting of this pipeline will also come with financial repercussions for the Kazakh economy. They table it at about $1.5 billion per year.
All right, we'll be following the fallout from that decision. Moving on deeply to a sad story that has fascinated the British press. This is about the assisted suicide of a British health worker that's due to take place in Switzerland today.
Yes, that's right. Today, indeed. Her name is Wendy Duffy. The Times of London explains that she's a former care worker who will end her life at a Swiss clinic today after being granted an approval. She's a physically healthy 56-year-old woman who is of a sound mind. It's just that she's been unable to recover from her grief of losing her son 4 years ago. She attempted suicide after his death, but it almost led her to a vegetative state. Duffy has said that she paid £10,000 to the clinic to plan her end-of-life procedure to this Friday. And it comes actually as the UK's assisted dying bill stalled in the House of Lords on Thursday. This bill will propose allowing adults in England and Wales who have been given 6 months or less to live the chance to apply for an assisted death, pending approval, of course, from doctors and an expert panel.
And papers are really divided over her decision to seek assisted suicide.
Well, it's never an easy topic in the press, and there's definitely a very differing points of view. This is from the Irish Daily here, who on the Irish Daily Mail, who on their front page has headlined on her case with this title here: "Who is anyone to decide how much a human should endure?" And in that article here, the paper's writer explains, gives us some context to this case, saying that her case vividly represents the deepest fears of those who are against suicide, of course, but it does not detract from the bone-deep sadness of her case. She struggled with infertility. She finally fell pregnant. She became a single mother. She also fatally made the tomato sandwich that killed her son, who died from choking. So while her death raises more questions than it answers, the paper says she has gotten what she wanted, and that's how it should be. However, the National Review, this is a U.S. conservative magazine, well, they are a lot more categorical in how they see it. They call the suicide clinic helping a grieving mother die. They say that the clinic is promoting a death-on-demand culture. They also accuse them of romanticizing death in this article.
As you said, Deepti, a difficult topic and always heartbreaking stories. We're going to end on something lighter now. This is an article in the Wall Street Journal about the surprising clauses that people are including in prenuptial agreements these days.
Well, apparently, as the Wall Street Journal mentions, Alison, prenuptial agreements itself are no longer seen as a stodgy agreement among the uber rich to wall off their money, as the Wall Street Journal says. These days, a lot more ordinary Americans have signed prenups. Around 1 in 5 people had signed a prenup in 2023, according to a recent survey. And of them, 41% are Gen Z and 47% are millennials. It's seen today more as a common sense contract between consenting parties. And the journal tells us that the most surprising clause, there are some very surprising clauses that people are including in the prenups. You have NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, to protect the very signing of a prenup or the details. Embryos, this is a new one as well. Who gets to keep frozen embryos as more and more couples choose IVF or have to go through IVF to conceive children. Cryptocurrency funds as well. Who gets a cryptocurrency? And also pet-nups. I don't know if you know what that is, Alison, but it's a clause to agree on how custody of a beloved pet is shared in the case of a separation or divorce.
I guess they used to be more about money, but actually these trickier topics are much more important to consider.
Exactly. It's not just about money.
It's not just money. Deepti, thank you so much, as always, for that look through the papers. That was our press reviewer, Deeptika Laurent.